Judge Joe Brown's all-new barbecue sauce and seasoning. Justice in the form of flavor.
Law firms will take this as a retainer.
What? It must be a law firm where they hungry as hell. Now you gonna help me with this parole I'm dealing with?
Judge Joe Brown's all-new barbecue sauce and seasoning. Justice in the form of flavor. With one taste of our premium blends of all-natural ingredients, herbs, and spices, you'll fall in love with meat all over again. Judge Joe Brown's all-natural barbecue sauce collection is made up of 2 zesty flavors, original and spicy. There's only one way to bring order back to barbecuing. Just add Judge Joe Brown's all-natural barbecue sauce and seasoning, and you be the judge.
Testing 1 2 3. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I see the judge. Hi, Judge. How are you? I can't hear you. I hope it's not me. Austin?
I can hear you just fine, actually.
Okay, I can hear you. So it's the judge. It's not me. Guys, you won't be seeing my face today because I'm getting over a serious head cold. And, I still look pretty, but I just don't look, too refreshed. Yeah. See? You see, if my nose is greasy because I've been blowing for the last 3 days, and you know how I get like blistery. So I have to put some, what's this? Aquaphor around my nose.
Aquaphor, yeah, that'll do it. That'll fix it.
I can't hear you, Judge, honey. What's going on? What's going on with the sound? Can you hear him?
Judge, push, if you're on your phone, are you on your phone or your computer, Judge?
He's on his phone.
On his phone, okay. So he's going to have to figure out a way to unmute his microphone.
Yeah, you have to unmute the mic. We can't hear you. And I don't know what just happened. So anyway, guys, listen. Hi, Dr. Julio.
How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you. So I asked you to be co-host or host / to help me out today because I didn't know if I was going to be able to do a show or halfway do it. So yeah, so I'm glad that you're here. So thank you because you're going to be headlining some of the topics and joining in on the discussion. So I appreciate you being here.
Well, I'm honored to be here without question. Anytime I get a chance to see you is always a blessing. And anytime I get to see Judge Joe Brown, I'm still thankful that he and I got a chance to do an interview together. So I'm more than happy to be here.
Okay, try the sound now. Is it
okay? Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I was trying to get back with you last night, brother, but it just got awful late.
Yes, sir. No, let me tell you something. You got my phone number, so it doesn't, we'll always have time to have our dialogues for sure.
Well, so all right, everybody, you're not, like I said again, you're not going to see me tonight, my face, because I'm just, I'm like I said, I'm getting over a head cold. So, and I have this ointment around my nose because of the blisters, blah, 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 blah. However, we're still going to have a really good show. Happy Monday. Hi, Judge. How are you?
I'll manage.
Excuse you?
I'll manage.
Well, that means you're doing well.
Fair to middling, as they used to say.
Uh-huh. All right, so we got to talk about the LA wildfires. We also need to talk about TikTok and the case going to SCOTUS, the Supreme Court, Mark Zuckerberg on Joe Rogan, Trump's inauguration security is being beefed up. But before we get to those, you know what? I said I wanted to start off with pop culture. I want to start off with pop culture and then go into the LA wildfires because I want to get that out the way. Take some castor oil. I'm not sick anymore, but I'm just getting over it. But thank you for the suggestion. So, all right. So a little bit of pop culture. Number one, what I was going to say in my monologue, tomorrow is January 14th, honey, and Beyonce is going to be making her major announcement. And I hope it's the world tour. I hope it is, because I did stash away some coins to buy a ticket, but I'm also going to buy a ticket to an overseas show. Yes, I am going overseas. I don't know which country yet, but she is making a announcement tomorrow. We don't know what it is, but I'm assuming it's world tour. Now, because I'm getting over cold, I went to urgent care today. And let me just say this, the healthcare system is a scam, especially if you have private insurance. I need to get back on Medicaid because you are respected more when you are on state insurance for some reason. So that was.
We don't have Medicaid in Tennessee. We have Medicare, which is federal, but not Medicaid.
But isn't that for seniors?
Medicaid, we do not have in Tennessee because they rejected any federal money on the matter some years ago.
Oh, well, either way. So I want to start off with a little bit of pop culture. And this should be a little, not fun in a way like it's funny, but interesting. I would say this little bit is interesting. And guys, please hit the like button and please share this video. Share, like. Where is it? Okay. So I don't know if you guys heard. What are you looking at, Julia?
I'm reading as you're talking, I'm reading some of these comments coming in on YouTube. That's why that is.
Oh, no, don't read the comments. Look into the camera. And you know what? You said you got a new camera. You got to, you know what? You should bring the lens and tell your girlfriend to bring the lens in closer so we can see your face up front more.
I'm going to have to adjust that. That is something I'm going to have to actually modify myself. That's not on her. That's user error. So I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to fix that myself for the next stream. It shouldn't take that long to fix, though.
Yes.
Just modification of a couple settings.
All right. So pop culture. Did you guys hear about the Nigerian gospel artist who got arrested for allegedly beheading his girlfriend? Gospel singer and fitness enthusiast Oluwatimeli Ajayi something was arrested after he was caught with the severed head of his girlfriend in a community boarding Nasser Arwa and the Federal Capital Territory. Ajayi, also known for his gospel music, was apprehended on Sunday, January the 12th, near a church of Orazo bordering something city. According to Punch, Caleb Umaru, the church Bible study teacher and general secretary, stated that the incident unfolded towards the end of the service around 11 a.m. during the final pledge and prayers. He said it was almost the end of service at 11 a.m. during the final pledge and prayers. A church member, Brother Victor, opened his eyes during prayers and saw someone passing by the river close to the church carrying a bag, and his movement was suspicious. That drew his attention. He called the attention of another Brother Amos. When he saw them, he threw a black neon bag into the river. They inquired from him what he threw in the river, and he said nothing. After many questions, he didn't answer. They left him and went back, but didn't go to church. While they were discussing outside, two biker men came and asked the brothers if they had seen anyone pass through, and they asked the biker men to describe whatever. Ajayi, realizing he was caught, suddenly fled, but the group pursued him and managed to catch him after struggling nearby. So the police came, he was arrested, and his girlfriend's head was in the bag. He explained that an argument had ensued when he discovered his girlfriend was chatting with another man. During the altercation, she cut his hand with a knife, and in the heat of the moment, he grabbed the knife and fatally stabbed her in the neck. Why am I bringing this up? Because people always talk about how they look up to these, especially these gospel entertainers or just entertainers, especially Nigerians who claim they're like just so superior, especially the ones in their country. But a lot of people do a lot of weird stuff. So yeah, his girlfriend's head was in a, he beheaded his girlfriend, and then I think he did some type of ritual or whatever, and he got caught and he got arrested. Anybody want to comment on that?
The devil lives in church. I mean, I would suppose. I mean, you just because people claim that they're a Christian, I mean, it's a whole lot of false claimers out there. I mean, that's all I would have to say to that. And if you know, as there's an old expression that I used to say on Clubhouse a lot, for those of you that know who Clubhouse is, which is and all that is, that's some next level shit. That's all that is.
Mm-hmm.
The devil made him do it.
Right. Yeah. No. See, Satan don't work quite like that. I think Satan actually has more important tasks to do than than that one.
Right. What'd you say?
Business.
What do you mean business?
Mortician to charge an extra fee.
Right.
The what?
The mortician gets to charge an extra fee.
Right. Literally.
I guess. All right. So that I just found that highly interesting. You know, I mean, it's not funny, but it's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's a lot of sick people out there.
Maybe he was compelled, and they ought to normalize it the way they say these days.
Well, okay. So now I want to move on to Diddy. He has another accuser.
Oh God.
So Diddy faces new assault claims from teen victim as prison walls close in. This Mario posted this on X. A shocking new lawsuit claims Sean Diddy Combs drugged and assaulted 16-year-old babysitter in 2000 after luring her into his SUV in Manhattan. The teen was walking home when Combs allegedly convinced her to get in his car, gave her a calming drink, and took her to an unknown location. This Jane Doe is victim number 41 in just 16 months, joining the avalanche of allegations that started with ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura's bombshell lawsuit. Diddy already locked up in the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center since September, facing federal charges for sex trafficking and racketeering. And that shocking hotel video of him attacking Cassie isn't helping his case. His legal team fires back. Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted anyone, but after the viral surveillance footage and his video apology, basically who's buying it, right? So yeah, so he has another claim, and this is the 41st accusations against him.
So what is she, 41 years old now?
No, this is number 41, victim number 41.
41.
Oh, yeah, she was 16 in the year 2000.
Yeah, so that's 25 years ago. That's 41 years old. Yeah, big deal. I'm not impressed. I just think it's more the Gloria Allred-led vultures that gather around trying to see if they can pick something up off of stuff like this. You can let something 25 years go by.
I equate some of this crap, Judge, to I was looking into the Trump case with E. Jean Carroll. She claimed that the assault from Trump took place, I want to say 1991, 4 years before I showed up on this planet, and then doesn't bring the case before anybody until he's running for president. I mean, it screams bullshit to me. And I wish that this type of stuff was called out more personally.
It does. And as a modern phrase, you snooze, you lose. It's just called, you have to do stuff in a timely fashion. The statute of limitations is long run until New York revived it. which I think is a very bad mistake, and it's a horrible inconsistency in the law.
I have to agree with that. There's never, as long as I've been studying stuff like this and looking into incidents, like even with going on with Diddy, there's always a correlation between powerful men and sexual misconduct allegations, and the timing of these incidents and the timing of the bringing them up and wanting to get some sort of monetary compensation for them is what has always drew me particular interest, because no woman should have to endure that, obviously. But my second point to that is, why the hell would you wait 20 years? Even with this young woman, it happens when she's 16.
25 years.
Huh?
25 years. A
What?
quarter of
25
a
years. It's absolute. I mean, it's insanity.
Yeah. Well, I guess on the bright side for Diddy, his house is still standing in the wildfires. Diddy's mansion spared as LA wildfires turn celebrity homes into ashes. So yeah, his 17,000 square foot Homley Hills mansion remains untouched.
Interesting. I had a thought about that. I looked at the pictures, the video, and everything. It looks like Burn Baby Burn revisited for the 60th anniversary, Watts uprising in 1965. It looked just like that, but worse. And see, I keep telling people that down on your knees praying while some fool beats you across the head until somebody else feels guilty about it got nobody anywhere. I just happen to have been in the DC
Who
thing.
is calling the house?
I don't know. I can't do anything about it. That's the ground line.
Yeah.
Probably spam. Anyway, certainly spam, since I don't make any calls from it. But anyway, I went through 60,000 pages of the congressional record that had to deal with the passage of the various civil rights acts in the 1960s. And out of the 60-some thousand pages, we found slightly less than 5 that were devoted to the peaceful demonstrations. The rest of the pages were dedicated to or discussing what was going on with this incendiary campaign that was going on in the cities of America, where angry people were burning stuff down at a rate that the U.S. Air Force or Army Air Force would have been glad to have achieved in, say, Japan or Nazi Germany. So it is what it is, and I looked at the damages, and that isn't quite as bad as what it looked like in Watts in September 1965 after the August 65 uprising. I mean, I was in college by then, so I remember it well. So it's a word up as to what could happen, not necessarily saying that it had the same causality, though there are allegations of arson.
Right.
But it is what it is. And the other thing too is, seriously, the lack of preparation by the California, or specifically the Los Angeles County authorities, is disgraceful. That woman, who is obviously an incompetent DEI hire, who is the chief of police of the fire department.
No, you mean this woman is the mayor, Karen Bass.
No, I'm not talking about Bass. Forget Bass. Right?
Oh, you're talking about the other one.
This fire chief is that's one of the most disgusting illustrations of incompetence I have seen, just by every time she opens her mouth. She says it was something unanticipated. Well, they're paying you $750,000, which nobody else in the state gets paid. It's your job to anticipate, to do investigations, to make sure that if there are contingencies, no matter how far out they may be, you have a preparedness. There was nothing done about that idiot governor Newsome when he bragged about draining all of those reservoirs, and the water was sluiced out into the ocean. There was an effort to prevent the development of fire breaks or restoration of fire breaks because of a species of mouse. There was another thing about not stocking the reservoirs because an inch-long fish was endangered. And that's just not proper prioritization. And even if that had been done, something could have been done to compensate for it. Additionally, we find that there is a security company that put alarm systems in some of these upscale mansions in Palos Verdes, Palisades area. And one of the things that they do is to monitor the power grid, because when it goes down, their customers switch to battery power, and the batteries have a finite charge in them. So they noted that in the 3 areas where the fire started, there was a drastic increase in faults in the system in the hour preceding the start of the conflagration. So why did the fire department not have access to the same material so it could have determined that something was wrong by ascertaining that something is happening on the grid, which might indicate a shortage, might indicate sabotage, anything? So it was just a startling lack of competence and preparedness. The whole thing is typical of La La Land, and California is flat broke busted for a number of reasons. And it's not a good place to be because of these things. I mean, weather-wise, topography-wise, it's great. But it seems that people have been more interested in pushing their particular selfish agendas than being interested in the overall good of the state. So they get what they deserve.
You're talking about this woman here.
And is this the one that is saying she's too fat and weak to carry a man?
Oh, that one.
Yeah. And if he was in a fire, it's his fault.
I'll find that one.
Wait a minute, Judge. Hold on. A woman that works for the fire department said this?
She's the chief.
No. That wasn't the chief. That was just a PSA commercial of someone that worked for the fire department.
No, that is the fire chief. The woman I'm talking about, I made an error. She's not the fire chief. She's head of the utility company, the one that said that they were not prepared. It was the utility company I'm speaking of. The fire chief is the fat lesbian that said it is no responsibility and it's your fault if you get caught someplace where there's a fire that she can't carry. That's the fire chief.
No, that's not the fire chief.
Yes, it is. Go check it out.
This is the fire chief here.
Yeah.
I'm super inspired.
She took time out of her already busy schedule to tell us about her vision for the department's future, one that includes a 3-year strategic plan to increase diversity.
People ask me, well, what number are you looking for? I said, I'm not looking for a number. It's never enough.
Out of 3,300 city firefighters, only 115 are women right now. She's already looking at ways to change that. She's quick to point out that doing so has a greater purpose, attracting the best and brightest for the job.
They feel included, they feel valued, and they feel part of a cohesive team.
The chief also checks another box when it comes to inclusivity and diversity at this department. She's a proud member of the LGBTQ community.
That just kind of opens the door of people that thought, wow, I didn't even know that was an opportunity for me.
That's the one.
So, okay, so let me find the other one, because I saw the other video with the girl saying you put yourself in that position.
That's the one I'm talking about right there. The chief.
Somebody in the chat is saying you're the other one is the assistant to the assistant chief.
Well, both they have 2 fat, ugly lesbians in that are running the department. The chief, assistant chief.
Yeah.
And then they got an idiot that is getting paid $750,000 a year to run the utility company in an incompetent fashion.
Jesus.
I'm trying to find, where is that video at? Wait a minute.
Look up Christine Larson.
That's her name?
I think that's based on what Miss Trish is saying down here in the chat. Thank you, Trish. I think that may be who we're looking for.
No. Wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, okay. This person here.
Oh, this is, oh Lord, she looked like a man.
That one. I was wrong about that. She's the assistant chief, not the chief. The chief was bad enough. There are two of them.
Yeah.
Well, the first video I played, that was the chief. Now she's the assistant chief.
Play hers.
I'm trying to find that video. I've been seeing that video all last week. Now I wonder if they took the damn video down.
You know they probably did. It's still liberal controlled. You know they probably went and scrubbed that off of there.
Right.
But she did say it's your fault if you're in a situation where somebody's got to carry you. So what's she on the department for? And if diversity, by including folk who have a perverted way of approaching sex, is supposed to be why we have this public agency that so many people depend on, I don't get it. This is the second largest, if not the largest, urban area in the United States. New York is somewhere up there tied with or slightly ahead, but you're talking that kind of stupidity and you run the emergency services. Well, what about the 911 paramedic services? Are they supposed to go, well, I can't roll somebody over because I'm not strong enough so he can go ahead and die?
Well, this one here is apparently LA firefighters were taught about implicit biases and other DEI nonsense. Let's play this.
We are hosting our new employee orientation, and our focus is to teach our new employees for them to understand cultural competency, identify implicit and unconscious bias, and be aware of the importance of us having a diverse and inclusive workforce.
Diversity is important because the different people bring different lenses to their job, and those different ideas, those different lenses are important to have the best practices for our industry.
We have people here from hazmat, we have dispatchers in the room, we have people that are responsible for financial management, we have our information management division, and also from human resources. So we have a variety of professionals that are receiving this training.
We teach people how to deal with conflict responsively, how to have challenging conversations, break down stereotypes, and learn more about cultural competence. And so we do this by working to advance equity throughout community partners and internal departments within Los Angeles County.
I welcome all of you in this room to join, whether you're LGBTQ+ or not, or you're just an ally, you have family members, anybody that's willing to engage and learn and grow from the opportunities that this experience has presented me with.
The Los Angeles County Fire Department would be recognized nationally and possibly even globally as an agency that was very serious about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and made some substantive changes so that everybody could feel safe and feel included.
On behalf of LA County Fire Department, we are so proud of our mission, which is to be proud protectors of life, the environment, and property. If you want more information about our department, please visit us at fire.lacounty.gov.
The music is revolting. The whole atmosphere of that thing is just sickening. What the hell has that got to do with any damn thing? Keep your mouth shut. Nobody knows what the hell you're about unless you look like this. Is this the one?
That's the one.
I know she's the one. But let's hear what she's got to say if you brought it
You
up.
want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire. You want
Pause.
Whoa.
Play it again.
Oh yeah, run that back. Run that back one more time.
want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire. You want to see somebody that
see, Judge, I'm not even going to, I know you got something to say. I want to hear what you got to say first.
Goddamn fool needs to be immediately fired for cause. And that's the assistant chief.
First of all, this is the thing that blows my mind. How in the is it that this individual can say he got himself in the wrong place if he's a fire? So if a 90-year-old man or a 87-year-old man or a man that's suffered a damn leg injury, is in a wheelchair, is temporarily incapacitated, if he got himself in the wrong position and then can't get out of a fire because he's unable to, it is your job to get your fat out there and carry him. See, this is the type of the thing that kills me with diversity, equity, and inclusion is this, Judge. It only panders to the minority of minorities. Only less than 10% of the entire global population identifies as anything related to the LGBTQ community.
In America, it ain't even that. Census and all of the studies, it shows that with the big portion being about 4 to 4.5% bisexual, the total is less than 0.5% that are trannies, less than 1% that are lesbian, and less than 1.5% that are male homosexuals. So that's about 2% of the population, 2.5%, 3% of the population. It's not even that big, young brother. So, I mean, we're supposed to get this. And look at here, firemen are notoriously famous for being fit because they have long hours after they clean their equipment, waiting on a call, and they pump iron and they do exercises. So they're extremely strong. They're buffed out. They're cut. And this fat hog right here represents herself as an assistant chief. What's going on here? And she has the audacity to say something like that. She should be fired for cause.
She should be fired immediately. No back pay, no nothing. Straight. I mean, and that type of nonsense is exactly why the left got the referendum that they got on November 5th of this past election cycle. Because let's be 100% clear here. If we're honest to the situation, when you look at this objectively, there is no way in the hell that we should be pandering to the literal minorities. I thought in America, majority rule. The majority of the country doesn't identify with this shit.
And then the other thing, what do you have happening if there is a fire and somebody's trying to help somebody out, and he's a big, even a muscular guy, and attempting to help rescue someone, he breaks a leg or something, or something falls on him, or he's just sick at home, and maybe some fool comes by and commits arson or something, and this fool wants to say something like that. I mean, if you said that about one of these damn freaks, they'd be having all kinds of hell in Los Angeles.
Absolutely.
That's disgusting.
It's just...
So thank you again, Austin, for being co-host tonight. I'm not even calling myself a co-host because I'm getting over a cold. So I'm not going to be talking as much. But I do.
Damn, that's the chief and the assistant chief are both into that cult mess.
Yeah, both of them.
That DEI inclusion little class that they had there was ridiculous with that insipid music going along with it. What the hell is that about?
You would think, and this is my thing, you would think, Judge, at least I would, that diversity, equity, and inclusion theoretically should actually deal with and assist people that have helped to build this country. This is where I get on my, as I said, the black soapbox, if you will. But it doesn't do that. This panders to, again, the minority within the minority. The smallest amount of people get the most attention with DEI situations, and that is absolute unadulterated BS. Period.
Well,
it doesn't pander to the everyday Black American. This panders to people that have to have an addition, what I call an additional identifier. You can't just be Black. You got to be Black LGBTQIA. You got to be Black trans. You got to be Black something else, and it's bullshit.
Well, I want to go to the mayor of Los Angeles, right? So LA Mayor Karen Bass told New York Times in 2021 that she wouldn't travel internationally as mayor. However, she is being criticized, and rightfully so, for being in Ghana as wildfires devastated Los Angeles. So when the wildfires started, she was not on American soil. She was not in LA or the state of California. She was across the globe on the continent of Africa in Ghana. Ghana, why? I don't know. Maybe she was getting a dual citizenship there because Ghana was opening up their, I guess, citizenship to outsiders, particularly Black Americans and others, right, to become citizens. There are a lot of people who became citizens. They have dual citizenship. What that got to do with her? And her city goes up in flames. And prior to that, you said that you wouldn't take any international trips while you are in office.
He's like that idiot Sam Yorty that had been mayor for several terms in Los Angeles, and he was out of the city a whole lot. The third time Tom Bradley ran for LA mayor, and Bradley beat him. Bradley was a strong man, ran Los Angeles with an iron hand, and this weak idiot right here, this incompetent jerk, is running around wasting people's time, too busy trying to be DEI for a city that is overwhelmingly Hispanic, with the circumstances where what she represents is a distinctly small little niche function of the city. And she does not do her job well, and the city is going straight to hell.
Well, it says Karen Bass, who was previously in Congress, and while she was in Congress, she specifically was on the House Foreign Affairs Committee and spent several years working on U.S. relations with Africa. But she's not in Congress anymore.
What does that have to do with Los Angeles, California?
Oh, had nothing to do with that. Don't have nothing to do with them.
Exactly. Now, you know, she's
and then you got the other one in Los Angeles, that decrepit idiot, Maxine Waters, whose district is the Skid Row area of Los Angeles, who, was it you or was it Valerie that we were dealing with this on? We had a recording of her speech, and this idiot was displeased with the demonstration that the homeless were putting on in her district. And this fool told the homeless, just go home and get off the streets.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was Valerie, but we did speak about it when that happened. So you spoke about it here and you spoke about it on your show with Valerie. Now, she also recently got on the show with, who's this? Chris Cuomo, to talk about what was going on in the wildfires, LA wildfires.
You mean Maxine the idiot? Well, at least she isn't scratching under her wig like the latest addition to the Supreme Court.
Is that Ketanji Jackson Brown?
The idiot.
The one that couldn't identify what a man or a woman is?
Yeah, well, she couldn't.
Why are y'all talking over the video?
We can't hear it.
You can't hear the video?
No, there's no sound.
Okay, well, why you ain't say something? I was sharing it and sharing it.
Well, I was thinking maybe we were being spared having to hear.
Oh, no. All right, give me a second.
These fires are bad.
Did you hear that?
We can hear it now. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Go ahead.
These fires are bad. They're on the watch of Democrats. Democrats should be to blame. Is that fair?
I would like to ask you and any other media individuals that may be listening, do everything that you can to get attention on Altadena. That whole area has just about been flattened, and we have working class people do not have a lot of resources. We all should have heavy hearts right now, but we should have faith, and we should be on point for making sure that we do everything to help the people that need us. Damn it, you can do the politics later. You can come and talk about Gavine Newsome later. You can talk about the Democrats later. I don't care who you talk about, but don't use up this precious time to do petty politics. Use the time to educate and to share information and to let people know where they can get some food, where they can get a place to stay, where they can get some clothing, on and on and on. That's where I am. I don't know where you are.
I'm right with you, Representative, and that's why I wanted you to come on the show, and I wish I had more numbers and resources to share.
Well, how about this one? She talked about, and they need a place to stay, and this fool presides over a congressional district with one of the highest homeless rates in the United States of America. And he's been there and failed to do any damn thing for decades.
Here's the one that blows my mind, Judge. She talking about, damn it, do the politics later. Well, Aunt Esther, politics, and I majored in political science, by the way, is the study of who gets what and how much of that what are they getting. So politics don't never stop. Maxine, Sister Waters, as they say. So your job as a representative is to assist in the delegation of who's getting what. And the problem is, and Donald Trump mentioned this in his podcast with Joe Rogan. Judge, I don't know if you watched that, but it was about 3 hours long. The fish that that California's governor Gavine Newsome wants to protect, which forced, among other things, water to be pulled away from California and allowed to just flow into the Pacific, is one of the largest reasons why California doesn't have enough water coming in to fight these damn fires.
Or is it that rich couple that monopolizes to privatize the water sources in California? They have, Fiji water or whatever it is they sell.
Yes, sir.
And various fruit juices. And
yes,
they
sir.
Charge very high rates to dole out the water to the various agricultural interests. But that's nothing new. Mulholland did that 130 years ago. Amassed a fortune, and they named a road after it that is replete with mansions today. Even the one, the heifer that runs BLM, embezzled at the behest of black folk who fell for the scam.
Oh, you know her house got burned down too.
No, well, she lost one. She lost, was it two of the three?
I think two of the three she lost.
Yeah. Mulholland Drive that they named after this water shark from 130 years ago that profiteered on tying up the water in California. So, I mean, it's nothing new, but are his friends who apparently donated to him very heavily during his campaigns getting something out of it now that there is a water shortage? And by the way, why the hell are you getting on bragging about dumping this water in the ground, into the ocean? I mean, California's had wildfire after wildfire after wildfire for decades, and it's getting worse. And your dumbass goes up there and you dump the water. Hell, you could have gotten an exception from the Environmental Protection Agency saying it was absolutely necessary and imperative to deal with the ever escalating danger of wildfire or lightning strikes or arson or whatever it might be. This is just incompetence.
It's gross incompetence, without question, Judge. It's absolute.
What is that? Do you have the show playing in the background?
Oh, you know what I do? Let me take that off. There we go.
Thank you. So
it's horrible.
Yeah. So you're talking about the people that own the Fiji water company.
I think it's Fiji. I may be wrong about the name of the company, but they own one of these bottled water outfits.
Yes, the people that own Fiji. Well, how is that possible? How is that possible to allow a person or a company to monopolize water?
Well, look at what's happened in California. Prop 13 was sponsored by the person who was the largest private rental real estate owner in California.
Yep.
And that was 1978. It was advertised as getting people off of welfare, but less than 1% of the impacted persons are on welfare, but everybody else is jacked up. Personal knowledge. I lived in Ojai, California, in Upper Ojai. I had a ranch. I paid $48,000 a year property taxes. Quarter of a mile down the highway, there was a gentleman in his 90s that was possessed of slightly more than 11,000 acres of land with at least 10,000 herd of cattle on it. And he was paying $462 a year in property taxes. He sold the property for an enormous sum to a Japanese entity that was in the business of building a $35 million country club on the 11,000 acres because they allowed him to maintain a life estate. They got grandfathered in, so this $35 million country club on 11,000 acres of land pays $462 a year in property taxes, and the next lowest property tax in the whole area was about $28,000 for somebody that had 5 acres of land. They cannot raise taxes in California without 2/3 of the legislature, that's House and Senate, going for it. So they have to deal with raising fees. They have a scam going where the value of your automobile determines what your yearly registration is. In Tennessee, it's $106.50 a year, whatever your car is. In California, my Porsche was $28,000 a year. One of them, another one was about $1,600 a year, $2,800 a year, and the other one was $1,600. And I had a Bentley that was $4,200 a year for registration. Now, they were short of money, so what they did is they doubled it. So the Bentley was $8,400 to register it every year. One Porsche was $5,600, and the other one was $3,600 a year to register the damn thing, which was absolutely ridiculous. And for the last decade, every damn year, though I don't live there and have no income there, they attach bank accounts through the subsidiary banks that do business out there, claiming I owe income tax. I always get it back, but I'm out several $1,000s in attorney fees and accountant fees to get it back, but they don't care, and they get to use it and earn the interest on my money for months and a whole lot of other people's money. If you live in California, whatever you pay for IRS to IRS, double it because you'll pay the same amount to California. They even have an insane thing on there where they have an assessment to folk who make over a certain amount. It's for the mental health fund. When I last paid California income tax, personal income tax, I had to pay $23,000 a year for their mental health fund. Hell, I could have adopted some son of a bitch and put him on my insurance plan if he was that crazy and gotten treated. But that's how broke they are. Yeah. The courts, the civil courts are only open 4 days a week, and that's because the judges generously donated part of their salaries back to the state. So the civil courts can stay open for 4 days instead of just 3, which is all the state allocates. So that's how broke they are. It's pathetic.
Well, with all that corruption, you know, and you have Maxine Waters, she doesn't never speak up against it. You have Mayor Karen Bass, who did travel 4 times since she became mayor to Africa. She went to Ghana. She went to Paris for the Olympics. She went to Mexico, but she can't seem to budget her city finances to allocate money to the proper departments. And then you allow these companies owned by 2 individuals to monopolize the water, which is crazy. But now
Nancy Pelosi making a fortune doing essentially insider trading in the stock market.
That too. So now with Pacific Palisades damn near burnt to the ground, and a lot of other parts of Los Angeles, the governor is saying that he is going to remove the red tape for people who want to rebuild. I want to play this.
And that's clip. A sucker move, because what happens is the loans that they have are going to have to be repaid at some high interest rates.
Damn right.
There's the problem right now with the whole mess. The interest rates for fixed interest rates for somebody with good credit in California ranges from about 7 to about 8.5%, which is ridiculous. It's disastrous for first-time home aspirants. It's not good for your second home. It's an ideal market for those who have the cash on hand. Maybe some of these people do, maybe they don't, because when you have mansions, they're expensive and maybe somebody's overextended. So it's a disaster. Yeah. And I just sort of chuckle and say, hey, we've got the 60th anniversary of Burn Baby Burn, which is what everybody was hollering for the 1965 Watts Uprising.
Let me play this this clip.
Do the right thing. This is an emergency. We can do all this dance, and we have differences of opinion as it relates to all kinds of issues and values, and and that's fair game, and that's important. That dialectic's important. But having this kind of friction when it comes to emergency response, with emergency responders, these heroes, 12,000 that are on the front lines right now, taking care of people, making sure people are still alive. We're still doing emergency maintenance and evacuation. We're still concerned about flare-ups and spotting. You got kids right now that don't have money for baby formula, and we're trying to get them disaster assistance. You have folks in hotel rooms that have money only for tonight and don't know what's going to happen, haven't even had a chance to see their homes. Here it's standing, or it's here and it's not standing. We want to get them emergency assistance over the course of the next 18 months. That's why I was with the FEMA director today. That's what the President of the United States and I are talking about, and I'd like to have that conversation with the next President of the United States. Let's turn the page as it relates to the new incoming president. We'd like him to have the spirit of the current president and have the backs of people so we can recover. I want him to visit and understand the magnitude of this scope, what happened to the American people that happen to reside here in California. I'm not interested in politicizing an event like this. I don't like the banality of it. I don't like the inhumanity of that. I would like people to focus on a collaboration between the executive in Washington, D.C. and in the state of California to help rebuild a community that's been completely ravaged.
I'm forewarning him about what was going to happen, and this fool wanted to call him crazy for saying, hey, this is what's going to happen. You need to be prepared.
Judge, if the video is playing, don't talk over it because we can't hear you. It doesn't matter. We can't
bullshit.
Listen, we can't hear you if the video is playing. So it sounds it sounds like a weird sound in the audio. So just let it play out. It's not that long. However, this is what I wanted to bring up. So Newsome is suspending rebuilding regulations after the wildfire devastations. So I guess he's saying, okay, I'm not gonna you don't have to worry about red tape when it comes to rebuilding. So a 3-page executive order signed by the governor this week will aim to streamline the building permit process, as well as roll back environmental regulations that will subject rebuilding to layers of time-consuming bureaucracy. The order covers all of Los Angeles and Ventura counties, both of which were affected by the wildfires, which have been estimated to the costliest of California history. The order is likely to be the first of several permit streamlining measures issued by state, county, and city agencies in the wake of the devastating fires across greater Los Angeles.
If I was into conspiracies, I'd claim it was all a scam, so that if this order was universal without restricting it to fire damaged areas, it was a scheme so that the developers could jump in and for very cheaply get around the California regulatory mishmash that takes so damn long to get through red tape for anything.
Well, Judge, that's exactly what it is. That's what it gives me, because if you remember several years ago back, and I want to say, Judge, this was 2009 when Obama was first elected, Rahm Emanuel got his ass on television and said the one thing about it is you never want to let a good crisis go to waste. So if you are a conspiracy theorist, that's exactly what the hell this crap sounds like. It sounds like the politicalization of a natural disaster being done by a Democratic administration within the state of California. That's all this shit sounds like to me personally. I agree with you there, 100%.
I mean, look, this, and then you got Maxine Waters. She got up in there and to compound it, to show you the ridiculousness of it, she said that God is on her side to protect children. And this from somebody that has voted over and over again in Congress to decriminalize adults having sex with children,
right,
to deal with sex change operations, right, and mutilate children. This is the one that is a member of a party and personally responsible for a lot of support given to grooming children. You see, this kind of hypocrisy just doesn't occur to them, because I guess they're out there too close to H-Wood, where everything is make-believe and every new movie is a whole different reality landscape, and you're supposed to just get into the immediate one and forget all of the rest of what's going on. So it's sickening. I grew up in Los Angeles, kindergarten through law school, came back for another 15 years later in life when I had this arbitration thing that they were televising. It's revolting. It's absolutely revolting.
Absolutely.
One more thing on the wildfires before we move on to the other subjects. Khloe Kardashian is getting a lot of backlash because she called the mayor, Karen Bass, a joke, I guess, from the way of handling the wildfires. And she's getting backlash, I guess, particularly from Black women saying, oh, why are you disrespecting a Black woman? So it's really about race. And I don't have a problem with Khloe Kardashian calling her a joke. She wasn't calling her a joke because she was Black. She was calling her a joke because she is a joke.
To the Black women that said that, Dana, they need to shut the hell up and sit down somewhere. It is not wrong to hold somebody that is a mayor accountable. I don't give a damn if the person saying it is white, Black, Hispanic, whatever. If you are messing up on your job description, you deserve to be called out. That's the thing. When you are a politician, and I say this is somebody that has a growing interest in getting involved in politics. If people trust you to do a job of leading some shit and you don't do the job right, you can be held accountable by any citizen that you're supposed to be responsible for protecting and managing and enforcing the law and delegating authority to relativistic agencies and whatnot. The fact of the matter is, if Karen Bass would have been doing a good job, Khloe may have given her praise. But don't pull the race card when a white woman is calling out a Black woman for being full of crap, which is how Karen Bass has operated. You spending time over here in Ghana, meanwhile your city is burning. Your city is on fire and you are over here in Africa. Them Africans those Africans give less of a damn about you than you do about your own American people, your American citizens, period.
You heard they chartered a new organization that wants to get involved. What is it? OISM?
Yes, sir.
Organization of Ignorant and Stupid Mammies.
If I did.
Yes. Is a charter member and the new chairwoman.
Oh God, Judge, that was good. That was good. Oh, that was good.
All right.
Well, that's one thing.
Right.
Kim Kardashian came
that's
up
one
with
thing. Hey, that's one thing Khloe got right. I give her that.
You got that right. Now, It wasn't him. It was
I ain't
Chloe.
up for much else to that shit, but she got that one correct. I ain't gonna cap you down.
That one correct.
All right.
Organization of ignorant and stupid mammies.
I know that right.
So here's the thing. Let's go to TikTok, and this second hour, Austin, you're going to be leading on these topics, right? TikTok, Mark Zuckerberg, and inauguration, security. So let's start with TikTok real quick, and let me just say this: as far as TikTok, it was what is this? It was today, 2 hours ago, it came out that TikTok's China considers Elon Musk as the white knight for TikTok USA. Tesla chief, successful transformation of X could provide a blueprint for addressing national security concern. China considers Elon Musk and wants him to, I guess, buy TikTok to save it. So an Elon takeover could merge X free speech philosophy with TikTok innovation platform. So go ahead and let's talk about TikTok. And the case is still up in the Supreme Court right now, correct?
It is still up in the Supreme Court. The court has not released a final ruling, and I will go on the record and say personally, I would love to see Elon Musk buy TikTok for several reasons. One, TikTok has paid me a large sum of money over the past 2 years. The video that Judge Joe Brown and I did, our interview alone, that made me over $1,300. So Judge, shout out for that, because you're one of the greatest interviews that I've had, and one of the best people I've talked to. Let me give you, I do have this written down. Let me give you.
How many views did you get on that?
I got over 100,000 views on that video within the first 12 hours. Right now, it sits at about 184 or 186,000 in total. And it does go up every so often, every time I look at it. But that was my second most popular video. The first video that I did from TikTok that got 1.6 million views was when I called Kamala Harris a political pander bear. And that video paid me, Jesus, I forget how much. It was almost $2,300 in total. But to catch everybody up to speed, I did have this written down from TikTok's the case surrounding TikTok, just to give everybody a brief synopsis. As of right now, the key argument from the government is that it argues that TikTok's ownership by ByteDance poses a national security risk, citing the potentiality for data access and manipulation by the Chinese government. The defense that has taken the defense's argument for TikTok states in simple language that the forced divestment or ban violates the First Amendment by suppressing the platform's expressive content, and that there is no concrete evidence or misuse of, and I'm going to say this like Trump, U.S. user data. But the fact of the matter is that when we look at it from the operational impact, if the Supreme Court does uphold the law and if ByteDance does not divest, TikTok will be removed from U.S. app stores beginning January 19th. And this would also prevent it from being updated. And it will lead to a gradual decline in the app for 170 million monthly American users. A ban would disrupt the income of more than 2.3 million content creators and businesses that rely on TikTok for marketing and revenue generation. Upholding this law may also set a legal precedent for increased scrutiny and regulation of other foreign-owned applications, with the potential of further bans or forced sales. The enforcement of the act that was included with that included the ban could also exacerbate tensions between the United States and China, influencing negatively, that is, diplomatic and trade relations. So this is in summary, this is a war between social media and mainstream media. The fact of the matter is, right now, TikTok gives people the ability, with 170 million active users, to generate and disseminate information faster than mainstream media can say yay or nay on any given story. There have been, and the podcast generation that we live in now, shows like this, Joe Rogan, have allowed Americans to get an uncensored, uncut, unfiltered view of politicians and of the political sphere in a way that we have never seen in the general time we've been here. And the fact of the matter is, if TikTok is forced to be removed from the United States, what is, in fact, I would argue, what is to stop the government or the next Democratic administration or Republican administration from attempting to censor the free speech of Americans? Donald Trump reversing his position on TikTok is one of the biggest turn of events that we've seen, because he was able to see him getting on TikTok, getting 14.1 million followers, a large percentage of them ranging from ages 18 to 27, and then increasing from ages 18 to 33. He had a major impact with Generation Z, with millennials, with people around my age. I'm 29 for reference. And that's why he changed his position. Donald Trump is the ultimate businessman. And it is my hope, in summary, that he does, in fact, save this app. And if China wants TikTok to buy it, then, damn it, Elon, you've got the money for it. Go save TikTok. That would be what I would say.
One thing, the arguments in front of the U.S. Supreme Court were interesting. You have to remember this action was brought by the Biden administration. Now, one avenue of thrust that the action is about is that there is a definite national security problem in so much as all of the information that comes in through the users is being collated by the Chinese, and that poses a national security threat.
Yes, sir.
Espionage. The Supreme Court seemed receptive to that thrust. The other main thrust was that it led to an opportunity for the Chinese to cause mischief by misleading or false information being pressed. And the Supreme Court justices seemed singularly unimpressed by that and made a strong series of remarks about its negative impact on the First Amendment. Now, the incoming president, as you mentioned, has reversed his policy or his particular view of TikTok and said maybe it's a good thing, so perhaps they can work something out about not getting rid of TikTok, but divesting it of its Chinese control. And then again, they're talking about Elon, but let's see, Elon, I mean, the country is becoming very dependent upon the genius, and I'd say that, of the richest man in the world. He set up PayPal, and everything you order online has a PayPal option these days, and that's deeply embedded in American commerce. You have a situation where he set up Tesla for automobile manufacturing to develop heavy industrial capacity. And right now he donated a showroom full of the cyber trucks to one of the fire districts in LA County because their power is cut off, but the battery capacities are so robust that the electric cyber trucks are powering the vital communications equipment for the fire district. He came up with SpaceX so he can get people off planet if necessary. I think the Starship is capable of taking 200 passengers directly to the moon or directly to Mars or transporting a huge amount of cargo. And then we get him acquiring what used to be Twitter, now X, so he can keep free speech going so we do not devolve into a totalitarian state run by people concerned more with satisfying people's sense of entitlement rather than promoting meritocracy and the continued advance of the country. And now here we go, loop-de-loop. He's trying to get NBC for a television station and they're urging him to get TikTok, which is not necessarily bad. He seems to promote free speech, and I know he posts often and at length on X, and you wonder how this guy has the time to do what he does with the rest of his enterprises and pay that much attention to X, but he does. And that might be.
Well, you got that kind of money. I mean.
No, well, I mean, I noticed this. I know billionaires. I was not unsuccessful in my legal profession. And I noticed there are those people who have to get mandatorily 8 hours of sleep a night. And I know I existed for decades on 3 to 4.5 a night. And the billionaires and multimillionaires I knew from connections I have, they hardly ever sleep, because sleeping is a waste of time until you crash. You might drop dead of a heart attack, but you become a success in life. So maybe he's one of those kind of guys that doesn't need much sleep. And I've been reading up on stuff where some people don't need that much sleep because they sleep more efficiently. So maybe that's him. But I'm not upset with him, especially with his DOGE in government to deal with establishing its efficiencies, which somebody needs to look at, because the bureaucracy has gotten way out of hand. And it was going in the direction that California was going, where somebody gets $750,000 for incompetently mismanaging one of the largest utility companies in the country. So maybe that's not a bad thing, but then I can see how you might downstream run into an antitrust situation, but we'll see.
I think that is going to be the thing. We'll see. I mean, from what I have observed of Elon Musk, he genuinely does promote free speech. Now, the question then could be raised, Judge, is Elon getting a little bit too powerful? But I don't think so. Personally, if he's got the money to do it, and based on his track record, I say let the man buy it. If the Chinese government is okay with him trying to buy it, because that came out 3 hours ago, that China's like, all right, we don't want to lose the money. Elon will. But let's be clear as well. Right now, the U.S. division of TikTok is actually was being managed by one of Kamala Harris's former deputy attorney generals from the state of California. And that led to the massive censorship, not only of myself, but at least 300 other conservative voices. And all of us had follower counts ranging from 15,000 all the way up to 75,000, some 115,000. Our video views were suppressed. So I would like to see somebody on TikTok that is not going to suppress free speech. And if that's Elon, then hey, based on what I can see, I say let the man buy it.
Well, I'll tell you another thing too. The Supreme Court was not impressed with that avenue of approach that the Biden administration's DOJ was trying to establish as a justification for shutting down TikTok. They were not impressed, and that's the point. It's censorship. I would say this: somebody needs to understand what it means to have as much money as Elon Musk does. He is the singularly richest man on the planet. His net worth is approximately 1/2 the budget for the U.S. Department of Defense.
Jesus.
So the U.S. Department of Defense had an $860 billion budget, and Elon Musk is worth between $440 and $460 billion. Tell you another little interesting thing. Business Insider was reporting the incomes of various people around the world, and it's intriguing that Putin's net worth is very high. He's worth supposedly $120 billion himself.
Jesus.
So he puts everybody in the West to shame when it comes to being a practicing capitalist and investor. So, wow, it's interesting what happens.
You get that kind of money, you're damn right. It's interesting as all get out. And so
in other words, it must be nice being in a situation where it's impossible for you to spend it or give it all away. You can't. So you don't have to worry about asking the price on anything, but the people who have that kind of money tend to be very vigilant about what they pay for stuff, and they look for bargains.
Real quick.
Kind of attitude that got them where they are.
Most definitely.
Real quick, Elon Musk did tweet this last week. He was like, could have had Caruso, and he retweeted Obama praising the LA mayor Karen Bass in 2022.
I'm confident you're going to be an outstanding mayor of LA.
Oh,
So,
thank you so much.
you know, but as you know, you got to run through the tape.
Exactly.
So you got a little more work to do.
Exactly.
But I'm really proud of you and grateful for your friendship. More importantly, grateful for the service you've rendered all these years and all the stuff you're going to do in the future.
Well, thank you so much. Your support means the world to me, and it means the world of Los Angeles. Thank you so much.
Love you.
And then Elon says, could have had Caruso. I guess that was somebody who was running for mayor.
Barack Obama's endorsement don't mean shit.
It sure don't. Not anymore.
That man endorsement don't mean shit.
Now, he still got powerful friends, honey. He's still a powerful man.
Powerful, but the hell with him. His endorsement don't mean shit to me, Jack. I ain't gonna lie to you, because anybody that got to go and talk to black men, grown black men like they're kids, who, and then your candidate loses, and then you all buddy. We all saw that. I meant to mention that earlier. We all saw Barack Obama trying to be Trump's partner at the funeral. Come on, Jack. We see the play, brother. We see it.
Well, Trump gave him enough money when he was running.
Yeah.
For the first term?
For the first, yeah.
And we had another situation. George W. Bush patted him on the chest, sitting down. I guess they hung around enough when he was a little boy, and Lolo Sotoro, his oil entrepreneur and spy dad, used to take him by his mama's blood kin cousin, the Bushes, all the time, cousins. So I mean, it's a family thing.
Well, is that all on
by
TikTok
the way,
before we move on to the next one?
As far as
we got
TikTok is concerned, that is it.
We have
Okay.
another developing organization that Obama and Bass are members of.
All right. What?
EMHS.
What is that?
Oh, EMHB.
What is it?
Elected Mammies and Houseboys of America.
Interesting. Well, let's move on.
I love this man.
Let's move on to Mark Zuckerberg, right? He was
I
on
love this part. Yes.
Yeah, he was on Joe Rogan. And listen, he donated, I think, $1 million to Trump, honey. And he is
donated $1 million to the inauguration fund.
Yeah, that's Trump. That's Trump, yes. And he is on bended knee because he wants to be on that winning team. But this is what he had to say on Joe Rogan, talking about the Biden administration made him do it, made him censor people.
These people from the Biden administration would call up our team and scream at them and curse, and it's like these documents it's all kind of out there.
Did you record any of those phone calls?
I don't think we but I think
I want to listen.
I mean, there are emails. the emails are published. It's all kind of out there, and they're like, and basically it just got to this point where we were like, no, we're not gonna take down things that are true. That's ridiculous. They want us to take down this meme of Leonardo DiCaprio looking at a TV talking about how 10 years from now or something, you're going to see an ad that says, okay, if you took a COVID vaccine, you're eligible for, for this kind of payment, this sort of class action lawsuit type meme. And they're like, no, you have to take that down. And we just said, no, we're not going to take down humor and satire. We're not going to take down things that are true. And then at some point, I guess I don't know, it flipped a bit. I mean, Biden, when he gave some statement at some point, I don't know if it was a press conference or to some journalists, where he basically was like, these guys are killing people. And I don't know, then like all these different agencies and branches of government basically just like started investigating, coming after our company. It was brutal. It was brutal.
Wow.
You see what we did to Donald Trump in New York with those 34 felony convictions. If you don't do what we say, we're going to fix you up and find some boys claim you molested them 15 years ago.
Yep, that's it. Political warfare, lawfare, as Trump called it.
So, Julio?
Well, so the thing with Zuckerberg bringing this up, the Biden administration did, in fact, send several emails and threatening phone calls to Facebook executives, Meta executives, to have them censor anything that was contrary to COVID, to the published government narrative. In fact, there was a video, I need to find it. If I should have found it before we started, Ms. Dana, there where Anthony Fauci openly admitted that the vaccine was ineffective. He openly admitted that there was no true the threat of death from COVID. And obviously we know that later on it came out, Judge, I'm sure you remember that COVID had a 99.6% chance survival rate. And so the narrative that the government pushed, it was also proven that Fauci admitted that the mask did not work. But when information like this was made public on Facebook, it was struck down. I don't know, a lot of my posts on COVID were struck down. And what this is more telling of, in specific, to be specific, this is indicative of something that we kind of already mentioned a little bit. He that has the gold makes the rules. He who has the keys makes the rules. If we go and allow the government to manipulate and control and oppress legitimate, not only free speech, but genuine truth being told, we have a serious problem in this country. A serious problem in this country. And so I'm thankful that Mark Zuckerberg is now at least being honest. Now, whether or not the question is he genuinely now a friend of Trump, or is he only doing this for political expediency or political convenience? That would actually be my question to you, Judge, based on what we've heard, even from this particular clip here.
Doesn't make any difference. Most of the time when you get stuff on a large scale, it's expediency and alliances shift. Stalin, Churchill, FDR, Stalin, Churchill, and Truman. Truman, Churchill, and MacArthur trying to bomb Stalin. See, right. It quickly changes. 45 years of Cold War. Now, Putin, former communist, part of the KGB, field agent, a real live James Bond type. Mm-hmm. He made his bones, got his pint of blood off of folk. Now he's a capitalist worth $120 billion. Things change.
Right. You're absolutely right about that.
But we do have our loyal niggers who can't change from the Democratic Party plantation days, been up there loyal to Massa for the last 200 years.
That's right. Toby be good nigga for Massa. Good nigga.
Yeah.
Toby,
I say the plantation has no fences now. There are no gates. Walk off, and I say, oh, you can't. Because you remember the movie Slave Mind. You just can't leave that alone. They haven't invented brain transplants yet.
You remember the movie Life, Judge? You remember the movie Life with Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy?
I tend not to look at too many of those movies.
That was one where they was on. They're in prison, and rather than have a fence or barbed wire, they just had the gun line. But there's nobody watching the gun line anymore, and black people still refuse. They refuse to walk off the plantation. And I said this morning, Judge, and it's so interesting because what I think black people do, black people like holding on to the victim mentality because nobody expects a victim to be victorious or to even pursue victory.
Well, it's also a convenient excuse to keep from acknowledging your own failure. How come they do it? Well, why didn't you go to the library when you were 9, 10, 11, 12 years old like other people who lived near you did? Well, see, I didn't have, well, okay, why didn't your parents? Well, see, well, why aren't you telling your children since you ought to know better? Well, see, they're hard-headed. You can't tell them nothing. See, you're just coming up with excuse after excuse to justify your personal failure. I posted something a couple of days ago, and some idiot wanted to get on me because when I just copied it from my notes and then posted it on X without me realizing it spell check changed Joe Louis, Louis, to Lewis. Stuff like that happens.
Right.
He wanted to get nasty, so I got nasty back, and he's thought like a slave. But the interesting thing is I listed Joe Louis, Muhammad Ali, Jack Johnson. They were acknowledged the greatest. They're no longer alive. I put in there Thurgood Marshall. He was the first black, an outstanding jurist, an outstanding litigator. He was the first. He's no longer alive. I put on there Malcolm X, the unique one and only Malcolm X. He's no longer alive. I did not put Martin Luther King on there because he accommodated too many people. I put Frederick Douglass on there, who escaped from slavery and tried to shoot some of the people that came after him, set up the 54th Massachusetts, did a whole lot about keeping the Southerners from getting arms out of Europe, helped set up the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, and kept Lincoln honest. I put him in there, and he's dead. I did not put Booker T. Washington in there because I know my family hated him, and so did a whole lot of people on my parents' generations for stuff that is overlooked now. I added to this list, let's see, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who by every metric is the GOAT for the NBA. There's no comparison. I added Kenny Washington, who was a scholar at UCLA, also an All-American football player, who was the first to play for the NFL with the Rams. I put Don Barksdale, who was a scholar. He ran track, 440, and the high hurdles, and he was an All-American wide receiver for UCLA, but he didn't play basketball in college, but the Lakers hired him, so he was the first black to play in the NBA, and he was a scholar. I put Jackie Robinson, who was a captain in the U.S. Army. He played.
Are you going to run down every person? Come on.
I'm almost through.
He's highlighting.
I'm highlighting, and I put Jackie Robinson in there, and he played football. He ran the 100-yard dash and the 220 and held the American records at one time. He never played baseball, but the Dodgers hired him to be the first black. But he also was a person who, 14 years before Rosa Parks et al. Did it, he refused to remove to the back of a bus down in Texas. And unlike them, he did not get taken in peacefully. He pulled his .45 auto out of his holster, racked around in the chamber, and according to the testimony at his unsuccessful court-martial, he said some MF is going to die tonight besides me. So he got acquitted. He had an ankle injury that he had waived, and he reasserted the waiver, resigned, and he went on to play baseball. All these greats were in there. And do you think they talked about victimhood? Do you think they talked about white folk on me, I can't do nothing? Or do you think they just kicked ass doing what they were doing?
I think they kicked
ass. They, look at it. That's a classic thing. So I put sports people in there so some would maybe get the idea, but they didn't. They kept wanting to nominate folks. Some fool even wanted to put that idiot Al Green in there as a great. And Al Green is nothing but a freeloading crackhead punk, allegedly. He owes me $5,000. And he stole.
Wait a minute. He owe you $5,000.
Yeah, he stole the money his church was supposed to be giving me to deliver his 11 o'clock services, and he put in an envelope, cut up notebook paper. Now, No, I'm not. And every time I saw his lame ass, he at the Memphis airport, where's my money? And he turned around, run. Now he's fat and out of shape. He can't run.
Well, I hope you never have to bump into him again at this point. I hope he paid you.
Yeah, forgiveness. But anyway, bottom line is there were some great black men in there that did not use anything about victimhood to explain why they could or could not do something. On meritocracy, they got to the very top.
Well, and the thing about it is to that point, and this is why I love talking to you so much. When you look at the merit, when you say meritocracy, you are going to have black folks, and I want to get your response to this argument because I say this to black folks all the time. Black people will say, well, you can't use a meritocracy because the system that we live in is rigged against us from the beginning. And how do you answer that? And I say, well, life ain't fair. Who the hell said life is fair? The very Bible that I believe in never said life is fair. The Bible I believe in says that the good die before their time. So why am I running around expecting life to be fair to me?
Did we go off course? Because I thought we was talking about Mark Zuckerberg and the censorship.
Well, that's what we're talking about.
Okay. So just swing it back to relate all that to that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good conversation, but
he talks.
Somebody said that he was bullied in school. Now he's bullied. bullied on his own platform. But I think it's bullying.
Yeah, but Zuckerberg, so what? That's punk play to get bullied. You got to learn how to stand up to bullies and bust them in the mouth, even if you get your ass.
Even if it's the federal government?
Yeah. I mean, look, I lost about $3.5 million over the last 2 or 3 years in income because I won't shut up. I don't have a damn thing to say to somebody talking about they scared of something. And I know all of the bullies I stood up to, and even if I got my ass whooped, I'm gonna bust him right in his damn mouth. He'll think about it the next go around. So you got to stand up.
But isn't that slightly? That's slightly. I don't want the feds knocking at my door. It's bad enough. I have to pay taxes.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I'm not gonna play somebody over there in Nazi Germany. They're gonna have to kill me because I'm gonna kill somebody if I'm in a situation like that. So look, this thing is important here. You've got a situation where somebody is whining about this. And the point of the exercise is forget Zuckerberg right now. The point is we've got too much of this victimhood. And these people that I cited all were at a time where I don't think most of these folk were born when they were at the height of their prowess. And I don't think most of these sorry Negroes running around talking about their being victims could have handled
it. Right there.
And if you get to it, what they're talking about is adversity. And humanity has learned to handle adversity, and that got us from cave to condominium. And there's many a sorrowful somebody who couldn't handle the adversity, but he made a nice snack, breakfast, lunch, dinner for something that was the adversity and ate his ass up. Now, if we can handle that, if some of the ancestors that get glorified in absentia by some of those who just dream about going back to Africa but have nothing to offer it, well, 13 years old, the rite of passage was you had to go kill Simba. And the more important your potential status was, the bigger the lion you had to kill. Or bring your pieces back that got gnawed on. So, I mean, if 13-year-olds can deal with Simba, these Negroes who ideate on going back to Africa have no damn business whining about being victims when nobody's basically going to kill them these days, except what is statistically impossible. I mean, occasional cop might shoot somebody for being stuck on stupid in a situation that could have been diffused. And even if not, you don't have to stand there and take it.
Well, no, again, and it's like Lamont says Zuckerberg ain't no victim. He did it willingly. I'm not calling Mark Zuckerberg a victim, and it's not about Mark Zuckerberg, but I'm just saying, the overall, when we're talking about what he is admitting to, and he's blaming it on the Biden administration, that should let us know that our federal government with this administration was actually blackmailing, blackballing American businesses and corporations and individuals.
Well, look at this. Zuckerberg is richer than Donald Trump, but Donald Trump didn't back down and told the son of a bitches to go to hell. He went there and he went up to the plate, and they went and put that lawfare on him, got 34 trumped up, pun intended, convictions. They got that big thing with the civil judgments. You had that jerk down there, Smith in Florida, trying to go after him for Mar-a-Lago. You had a Bragg up there who went with that damn mess with Stormy Daniels. You had that idiot and down where you are, young brother, that fool Fannie Willis with her dumb ass.
Judge, you know where I work. I can't say too much about Fannie, but I can't stand her. I can say that out loud.
I can say a whole lot about her. She's goddamn incompetent. In my half century of being involved in the practice of law, she pulled off what is number one now out of all the people I dealt with, which is tens of thousands. She pulled off the dumbest Fifth Amendment stunt in my entire career. I had some damn fool that every time I thought about a fool failing to exercise the Fifth Amendment, I had this guy in mind. She took his place. But anyway,
well, let me say
thing I ever seen. I'm embarrassed because.
All right, let me say this.
Her father was a good man.
Okay, I don't want to talk about Fannie right now.
Wait a minute, stop that, Dana. Hold on. Her father used to represent Nelson Mandela, had at least 1,000 trials under his belt. You could always count on that brother being there for the Black Student Alliance, BSU, and making a move when necessary. He was no punk. And his daughter turning out to be such a dumb idiot. That is absolutely ridiculous.
All right, I want to move on because that's not what I want to talk. That's not the topic, and I have to move on to the two more things. We got to get to Trump, and we got to get to Trump, and we have to swing back to the wildfire. But I just wanted to highlight Lamont's thing here. He says, I know, Dana, he went right on. Yes, Mark Zuckerberg went along with it. So the problem is, why are you crying wolf now? Because he didn't have a problem going along with it. Now, whether he had a choice or not, but not only did he, like he's saying, I guess he was being blackmailed or what have you. And if he didn't do it, I guess he would face some type of retribution. But he double, triple, quadruple down on the censorship. So
why we give a damn about Zuckerberg when he's
not about Zuckerberg. Trump. It's not about Zuckerberg, the person. It's just about he's coming out now admitting what the Biden administration.
Let me say that. Let me jump in here for a second.
Donald Trump stood up to the fools. Why didn't he?
Well, Donald Trump don't run a multi-trillion-dollar social media platform.
The problem is, let me say this: more behind him than Donald Trump did, but he didn't have the balls.
The problem is this. This is where this gets interesting, and that is a great question, Judge. I don't want to skip that question. The issue with Zuckerberg, or the issue with the reason he's doing this shit now, Ms. Dana, is because he wants to make himself a friend of Trump. So now, well, let me make sure this is a political move. That's why I asked Judge the question the way I asked it, because I know this is political. This is political theater.
Straight it is.
Right. This is political fucking theater. Mark Zuckerberg says, okay, well, shit. Now the jig is up. So now let me release these emails that show that the Democratic Party did censor us, and we went along with the censoring. To Judge's point, Trump has less money, and Trump lost money while running for and being the president. The man didn't take a salary for his first administration. He had less money behind him than net worth wise than Zuckerberg did, but yet had the balls to tell the political establishment to go to hell. Zuckerberg had more money than Trump, and while having more money than Trump, he catered and kowtowed and stepped and fetched to the commands of a regime that wanted him to do what he was told. So the issue that we have here is these men ain't real men. They sissies. That's what this is.
Well, all right.
Damn,
so
Zuckerberg, he punked out. That's all you can say.
So he ain't got no ball
out.
Well, the thing is, he's kowtowing to who's ever in the White House,
which is
the problem. And the problem is, let me finish. And the problem, and then we're going to move on. And the problem is, you kowtowing kowtowing to whoever's in the White House, and that is the problem. So you have one administration that told you to censor Americans and strip them of their First Amendment, right? And then now with this administration coming in, you know, you're donating $1 million to his inauguration, and you're spilling all the tea because you want to be in. Now, this is what they do, whether you agree with it or not. This is what billionaires and trillionaires do. However, yes, he may have more money, but a lot of times it's not about the money. It is about power, and power trumps money. Now, Trump,
we've been
let me
talking
finish,
about
Judge. You gotta let me finish. You have to let me finish. You
Go
sat
ahead.
up here and you talked, and I didn't interrupt you. So let me finish and don't interrupt me.
Okay.
I'm already congested. So what I'm trying to say here is,
well, rest your voice.
what I'm trying to say here is, I don't think it's a matter of punking out. I get what you're saying. I agree with what y'all are saying, but I'm looking at it from another angle. I'm looking at it where you have these billionaires that create these mega companies, and I'm gonna throw in Elon Musk.
Okay.
They create these companies, not just a company, but that change our society and revolutionize and advance our technology. When you talk about Facebook, when you talk about these Tesla cars, when you talk about Starlink, and when you talk about Amazon, right? So on one hand, so they have power. So it's not even I think that it is a point to where the Biden administration probably was going to say, well, we'll blackmail you or whatever. But I don't even think it was that. I think part of that he was willing to censor because whoever's in that White House, he's going to cater to them like he's doing now. Elon Musk, he created the electric car. That is so far left because who loves electric cars? The governor of California, where he's trying to mandate all of them to buy electric cars, which would definitely benefit Elon Musk. Now, Elon Musk is pissed with California, which is why he moved to Texas. But my point is, when you have these billionaires, even Bezos, or whatever, they are going to cater to whoever's in the White House or to whoever's controlling the federal government to their own specific personal needs and gains. It's all about them.
But what I think is,
so it's not about, oh, I'm a sissy. It's about how can I gain more power?
But we're looking at this from a different perspective, Ms. Dana. See, once you, or at least I am, and I think judges as well.
I am too, certainly.
What I'm saying is this: when you got a certain level of money in your pocket, this, respectfully, where's my censor button? Who's in office? Them. If you got a certain level, all right, if you've ever seen The Gambler, put a one in the chat if you've ever seen the movie The Gambler, right? I'm about to quote this word for word, but y'all got to go with me on this. This takes about a minute and a half, Judge. You get up, let's say you get up $2.5 million. Any asshole in the world knows what to do. You get a house with a 25-year roof, you get an indestructible Jap economy shitbox, you put the rest into the system at 35% to pay your taxes, and that's your base. Get me? That's your fortress of fucking solitude. That puts you for the rest of your life at a level of fuck you.
Stop saying the F word. Stop.
Well, it puts you at a level of F you. Somebody pisses you off at work, F you. Your boss tells you to do something you don't want to do, F you. Own your house, have some millions in the bank, don't drink. If you have that kind of money in your pocket to your name, there should not be anybody that should allow you to kowtow and step and fetch because you are rich enough to tell them to go screw.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, and you're not understanding what I'm saying, or you don't get what I'm saying. It's not you keep going back to money. These are already billionaires when Obama was in office. It's not about money. Do you think Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, a person get to a certain, it's not about the money.
It's about being a punk.
It is about, no, it's not about that. It is about how more access can I gain to get and control what I want? So let me finish. Don't interrupt me right now. Let me push back a little bit with you, Julio, because I'm saying, I understand what you are saying, but
yes, ma'am.
Elon Musk, did he object to Gavin Newsome wanting to make everyone in California buy an electrical car? Absolutely not. Now, because that's going to benefit him. Now he may object to other things, and then with Elon Musk, he probably looked at it. This censorship is just going too far. Let me buy TikTok, right? Okay. Which made him even way more popular. Now, probably a whole lot more of the people hate him. But when you're talking about access and when you're talking about power, Elon Musk right now is probably, if not but one of the most powerful men in the world, because it's about him. How does all of this benefit him? Yes, I could do something that is going to benefit and help the American society, the Americans, right? And help them with their constitutional freedom of speech and freedom of press. But at the same time, I'm gaining all this other access and I'm becoming more wealthier, right? Which, put that to the side, because that money is going to what he has to do to get to Mars and everywhere else.
Yes,
he's gaining more access. He's gaining more positions of power. So when it's time for him to continue to find our way to get to Mars or to colonize Mars, whatever, that red tape is going to be non-existent in Elon Musk's world. So it is about what the fuck they want. And what they want is whatever entity, whatever imagination that they have, whatever thing. Money is not on the table. It's everything else that's so much bigger and better than money.
No, but let
me say this.
Go ahead.
Bezos, whatever the hell. He wants to go to outer space, probably create a luxury resort up in outer space. He want to take his ass up to outer space. The same thing with him. Everyone wants to sit at the table with Trump because Trump won what fit their needs.
Well, what I'm saying, Ms. Danny, is this: money has always been the most easy direct access route to power. So if Zuckerberg really wants that kind of power, he got enough money to run for office. The average winning presidential candidate spends
who the fuck want to be a politician? He's more powerful now.
He ain't more powerful. He's a goddamn
when you are
what
a
the point is, he lacks character.
When
let me say this. I've been quiet over here.
He doesn't need to be a politician.
Let me say this. Our topic tonight, for the most part, has been victimhood. It is absolutely absurd for one of the richest men in the country to be whining his ass off about he was suffering from victimhood because these corrupt bastards in the White House wanted to punk his ass out and back him down because they were threatening him. He's got an unlimited goddamn legal budget he could afford. He could have done exactly what Donald Trump said. F you, fool.
Lying. He was lying.
He wasn't lying. He just punked out. He got bullied in school and his ass got bullied as a grown man and a billionaire. That's what happened to him.
No.
That's what happened to him. He got bullied. He got victimized and he punked out. And you got all these people that have made this country what it is, who are flat, broke, poor, down and out, and they made the final sacrifice. And this billionaire MF gets his lame ass up there and tries to justify that he got threatened.
Exactly, because that's the lie. I'm going to say whatever I need to say to get in Trump's good graces.
Oh, that means you full of shit then.
Why did he need to get in Trump's good graces? He could have bought everybody's.
Let me talk. Because when I was censoring people, I was also censoring Trump and all his minions. So the fact is that he's in charge now, and I like being next to winners because I need that red tape to disappear with whatever I plan on doing. He got on Joe Rogan and he lied. That's it.
He told the truth. He punked out.
Billionaires don't give a shit about regular people.
He's still male with balls and a dick, I think. He got bullied growing up, and he got his ass bullied as a billionaire by the lame ass Biden administration. He kowtowed to him. And if you grab that kind of money, your ass needs to be doing the same kind of analysis those idiots that run the utility company and the fire department out in Los Angeles do. They should have done a goddamn analysis of what the reality was and acted on it. You mean to tell me you made all this money, you can't read a goddamn market? And you want to sit there and tell me that you got punked out by a loser who got his ass whooped, didn't even get to run for the damn president, and had that damn casket household up in there trying to go run for president, got her little fanny ass whipped. And you want to sit there now after the fact, you suddenly have it dawn on you that you got your ass bullied and you made a victim of your dumb ass? Oh, please.
And you actually believe him.
I'm not believing him.
Yeah, you
I'm
do.
listening to him. He's saying I'm a victim. I'm a victim.
That means
They
you believe
victimized me.
saying.
I'm one of the richest
All right,
men in
so that
America,
means-
and
that
I let a
means-
little punk ass
that
wannabe
means you
wealthy
believe-
somebody who's
that
senile
means-
bully me.
That means you believe what he said on Joe Rogan.
What did he say?
He said, like you just said, he claiming that he's a victim. You believe him?
No.
What did he say?
What me and Judge are saying
What
is,
do you mean, Judge? You just said what he said. We all said it.
No. We're saying that what he did.
No. What you laid out, what he said on Joe Rogan, blaming the Biden administration. And Judge is basically saying, yeah, you punked out. You want to play the victim card saying Biden made you do it. Because that's what he said on Joe Rogan. Biden made me do it. And what I'm telling you is he's lying.
No, we agree with that. We're not disagreeing.
No, the judge don't agree because the judge saying he wasn't lying. He really is a punk. I'm saying he's not a punk. He's lying. Whoever's in that White House, he's going to do whatever they tell him to do because he don't want the red tape to be.
No. We're looking at this from a male perspective.
I know, and please throw that male bullshit out the window, honey. There ain't nothing about male, ain't nothing about female, ain't nobody having no emotions because I don't give a damn about a billion.
No, not you. I'm not. No, not you. No.
What I'm saying, only thing I'm saying here, when it comes to Mark Zuckerberg, he got on Joe Rogan and he lied by saying that he was basically a victim to the Biden administration because they were twisting his arm to censor people over COVID. And it's like, no, you're not a victim. You lied to Joe Rogan because you wanted to be in the good graces of the Biden administration because they were in power when it comes to the federal government. So
that's the thing. What we're saying is we know he's lying, but we're also saying you ain't a real man because a real man that also has that kind of money ain't gonna let nobody punk your ass out and tell you to censor a goddamn motherfucking
That's what I'm saying. You're saying it's about punking.
Absolutely.
And what I'm saying here is a lot of times people will pretend to be whatever they need to be to get what they want.
But do we respect people that pretend or do we respect people that's real?
Billionaires like that don't give a fuck if you respect them or not. Honestly, there are a lot of people in this chat right now that totally disagree with me. I don't give a goddamn what they say. You think I give a fuck about what they're typing? Absolutely not.
Did you just tell me stop using the F word? Stop cussing.
Okay, we pass it to I use it because I'm used to YouTube, but I don't talk about their respect.
Well, this is true. I mean, I can understand that.
You get what I'm saying? I look at these billionaires. First of all, they first of all, they can't be trusted. Their agenda is them. So
I understand that part. Yes, ma'am.
But I'm seeing he got on Joe Rogan and he lied and he called, let me be a chatty patty and play the victim so I could kowtow to this administration to continue on to gain access.
I hear you. I understand that.
I would say that might be true, except I have grown up, been a man a long time. I know a lot of men. I know personally some billionaires and a whole lot of people that are involved in the in and out of this. They range from punk to strong men. Some of them inherited it. Some of them made it. Some of them made the money being nerds, and some of them made the money being brilliant, hard folk. They kill people. They take penitentiary chances, and they work big time and sleep little. And I know when I'm hearing a male give me an excuse for being a victim, and I know somebody who got bullied growing up and still got bullied when he was an adult. No damn excuse, because I've seen billionaires tell somebody to drop dead quicker than anybody else. And they're usually the first to volunteer when there's a real live war going on because they actually have something to defend and to protect. So I don't buy him coming up with that victimhood, and all that stuff is an excuse which he is using right now to justify why he punked out. Other folk didn't. So why is he the one that is supposed to be empathetic, sympathetic, and all this other? Because he's simped out.
Well, if I guess he wants sympathy from the public, but whatever it is, I'm looking at it. This man is willing to be, you could say Mel, this Mel is willing to be whoever he needs to be to continue to gain access to whatever he wants.
Give me liberty.
That is the motto of most billionaires.
Give me liberty or give me death. I regret that I have but one life to give for my country. PT 109. All right.
Well, the person
you have
that said
all
that,
these folks that did these things and they sacrificed.
wait, one second, let me say something to that, Judge. Let me say that because the person that said that was not a billionaire. Give me liberty or give me death.
That's one extreme. He didn't have much going at all, and he got.
Now, all of these people with those
John F. Kennedy was certainly
they were not billionaires.
A filthy rich gangster. Joe Kennedy, who was
billionaires.
but back then they didn't have billionaires. He was a multimillionaire, and he was an organized crime thing.
They weren't the Rockefellers or the Vanderbilts.
Joe Kennedy was one of those folks that was a gangster, and he was in the equivalent position of this character here.
He was wealthy and he had a lot of connections and he was powerful.
Would have been.
Rockefeller is like.
By the way, I met some Rockefellers. This Rockefeller, the big one, would have been like what is it? Elon Musk. And this guy right here that we just looking at as he's trying to victimize himself would have been more along the line. Well, not Joe Kennedy, because Joe Kennedy was a gangster. He didn't play that.
So little FYI, Julio, honey, you need to look up in the camera. This Showtime. This is YouTube. I told you are a co-host with these topics, and you are not doing well with time management here. You're not doing well with time management.
Well, anyway, let's get back to this. Is playing a big.
I can hear you now. I think my microphone was muted. I was saying I was looking at a important message I had just gotten. I'm also streaming this on a couple other platforms.
Are you streaming what? This? No, don't.
Well, not anymore. It cut off. That's the point.
Yeah, but do me a favor. Take it down.
I already have.
And
no,
I mean don't have it up where people could go back and look at it.
Here's the thing.
Wait 1 second, Judge. Are you able to do that?
Give me 20 seconds.
Oh, yeah, do it. And when the show is over, I'll explain to you why, whatever. But because we have to go on to the next topic.
Let's go on to the next topic. Look, I look at this way. This, like Facebook, a bunch of damn idiots. They kowtow too. I've never posted anything on Facebook. I just had the account so I could look at stuff people sent me. All right. Links. I had the maximum number of, what do they call them? Friends, not followers, but friends. They banned me for life, not for anything that I'd posted on Facebook, but for what I'd posted on X. Not even the same damn venue. What the hell is that? Is this the United States of America, or is this Nazi Germany, or is it England? You know, did you see that thing which we knew need to talk about? They gave somebody probation for raping a 9-year-old. They gave somebody probation.
No, we're not going to talk about that now. I don't know why you say that. No, we're not. We're not talking about that. We're moving on.
Let us do this because it's on topic.
We're not talking about that. You know why? We're not talking.
Okay, the R word. They gave somebody.
Let's move on. I want to move on. Gotta move on. Gotta move on.
Gotta
move on.
Great Britain is giving people 11 months, 9 months, 8
Yes, Judge. Let's move on. Let's move on.
That's where we're going, and that's what this
let's move on.
Was.
Let's move on. I don't care. We're moving on to the inauguration security.
That Secret Service. What's that got to do with us? But anyway, let's talk about it.
Because that's the topic, and that's what we're about to talk about. So, and Julio will be leading this topic, but I want to show these clips right here. So DC police, they had a press conference talking about, what they're going to do to make sure that President Trump inauguration can run smoothly, and as far as security being beefed up.
Our entire police department will be activated for the presidential inauguration. In addition, we'll be reinforced with nearly 4,000 officers from across the United States who were generous enough to raise their hands and commit their time to assist the Metropolitan Police Department. Those additional resources will be deployed to manage traffic, secure dignitary routes, and ensure public safety in our city. I'd like to pause and thank those officers who are coming to our city, taking time away from their families to ensure the safety and security of this event. Their commitment to our country, to this city, and their law enforcement partners are admirable. They deserve praise from us all. Also, our entire police department.
And this is the second one.
What's different is we are in a higher threat environment.
What is the difference in comparison to the last inauguration or previous inauguration?
Last inauguration? Yeah. I would say we have a slightly more robust security plan. We've been planning for this event for 12 months, along with our partners. It's an ever-changing threat environment, and so we stay flexible. If we see that, hey, we need to shore this particular checkpoint up, we do that. So what's different? We've learned. This is our 5th NSSE this year in the Washington field office. We've done 83 NSSEs. Each one we take a look at, and if there's areas where we need to improve, we do it. But what I can tell you is that we are 100% confident in the plan that we have put in place for this inauguration, that the public and our protectees will be safe. So I would say what's different is we are in a high.
All right, go ahead, Julio. I can't hear you.
Unmute.
There we go. Y'all can hear me now, right?
Yes.
It is a beautiful thing that they are increasing security. They're also going to have more National Guardsmen out than they've had. I think it's going to be around the same amount they had for the Obama administration. And I'm actually going to be attending the inauguration. Shout out to Amber Rose and Michaela Montgomery for that. I'm also going to be attending the presidential ball. Again, shout out to Amber Rose and Michaela Montgomery for that. The reason that this is so vital and so important is because of the fact that, understand, this is the president. This is the only president in the most recent history we have that has had to suffer not one, but 2 assassination attempts. So this man's life is under a threat of danger that we've never seen within the past, I would argue, the past 3 administrations. I think Trump's life was nowhere near as much in danger in 2016 as it is now. I'm not even certain that Barack Obama received as many legitimate threats on his life as Donald Trump has actually had, both threats and, in this particular case, attempts. So heightened security is an absolute necessity. Now, what that looks like from a law enforcement logistical perspective is the inauguration will be a shit show in terms of trying to get there if you're just a regular schmegular everyday citizen like myself, unless you have connections. What I am glad to see, though, is that the DC Police Department and police officers actually all around the country are expressing widespread support for the president of the United States, the incoming president, that is. So I'm personally thankful for it, and I'm glad to see it.
This whole thing reminds me of exactly what Governor Newsome was saying out there in California some months ago about it's all right, everything's in hand. And considering the track record of the DC police and what runs DC, and the mayor of DC being well, anyway, I think he's not in capable hands. And I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot of the cops who were volunteering to come across the country just want to be there. I got invites to the swearing in, but I'm not going to stand in freezing cold out there in a heavy coat while I am needful of a pair of binoculars to see what the hell is going on. So, you know, I've lost a lot of money supporting Donald Trump. And if I don't get an invitation to one of the balls or something like that where I can network, I'm not going to waste my time on an airline ticket in a hotel room. So it is what it is. I do think I've got a line on a press credential, but that's another thing too. Maybe I'll get it, maybe not. But, you know, I can watch it on TV it the way it's going.
Well, if there's anything I can do to help you with that, I will.
Well, you know, I mean.
Well, let me just put this in for context, because these people that are going to the Liberty, the Commander-in-Chief, and the Starlight Ball, these tickets, and I know the Starlight on the minimum was $10,000 a ticket. So these are the big time players, the billionaires, trillionaires, and multi-millionaires, and people from all over the world. Those are the people that are going to be in these rooms. So if they even buy 4 tickets, and if you know someone and they may throw you a ticket, that's great. But these are, and I understand that. Listen, if you paying that kind of money, you know, you pay to play, and that's what it is. So these are not cheap tickets.
Yeah, I know, but these guys sit at home in their offices or in their mansions, and they wrote checks. There are some people, like down there in Georgia, that stomped all over the state for weeks. It went out on a limb. There are people all over the country, grassroots. See, Trump didn't have the greatest organization going, but he had one hell of a thing about grassroots. It's like down in Georgia, the people that were taking me around the state, I spent a whole week there, hours a day, 10, 14 hours a day campaigning. I didn't mind. That was my pleasure to do it. But like some of the people that were taking me around, they weren't getting paid. They did it on their own. One thing is an example of what they did in Georgia that was grassroots. They got all these stickies, like stick-ons, and they paid for them, not by any Trump headquarters or finance. The people paid for them, and what they said was, Trump, no tax on tips. And every time somebody got a tab at a restaurant, they'd stick that on the bill. Trump, no tax on tips. Made a hell of an impression. See, Trump was beneficiary of not an astute organization, but one hell of a grassroots movement. Those were the people of the United States that came out. And if the only thing that is going to be happening for all of those grassroots people is to be stuck out in the freezing cold, which, according to the weather prognostications, it's not even going to hit freezing on the evening in question. So if they're willing to stand out there, some of them need to be vetted and invited in to where they have the warm thing, so proper appreciation can be shown to them.
Well, this is the inauguration schedule. It came out today. So you have Saturday, the 18th. It says President reception, fireworks display will take place at Trump National Golf Club in Virginia on the 19th. Let's see if I can make this bigger. On the 19th, will include a wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington Cemetery, Trump's MAGA victory rally at Capital One Arena in Washington, and candlelight dinner. Monday, January 20th, Inauguration Day. It will start at St. John's Church, followed by tea at the White House. Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance are scheduled to be sworn in at noon, followed by the official farewell of President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. Trump would then head to the president's room near the Senate chambers, where it's traditional to sign nominations. Then they're off to the parade. And then he'll be going to he will attend 3 balls: Commander-in-Chief Ball, Liberty Inaugural Ball, and the Starlight Ball. And he is expected to speak at all 3. The next day, on the 21st, inaugural activities will conclude with a national prayer on Tuesday morning.
Yeah, sounds like it's being interesting. Frankly, for the farewell for Biden and Harris, they need to bring one of the DC garbage trucks there and have it parked out front with a red carpet leading directly to it.
You know what's funny, Judge? You say that Trump's garbage truck is going to lead the parade on that Sunday.
That's nice.
But I'll tell you this: at least we'll be able to say we are finally unburdened by what the hell has been.
That's a good one. I also want to highlight this. So it says the U.S. State's Capitol Police, Monday, January 20th, Joint Congressional Committee and inaugural ceremonies will host the 60th inauguration of the president-elect and vice president-elect on the west front of the U.S. Capitol. If you want to get tickets to be out there, is a link to get the tickets to keep everyone safe. Capitol Police Board is prohibiting these items, whether it's alcohol, backpacks, balloons, animals, ammunition, body armor, beverages, bicycle, camera cases, chairs, chemicals, commercial audio, video recording equipment, and tripods. Damn, you can't even have that. Coolers. Jeez. Can you have a cup of tea? No, you can't even have beverages.
This is what you can't have.
Some people have died and been wounded.
No, this is what you can have.
Allow body armor. What the hell?
Yeah, this is all what you cannot have.
Sounds like DC police.
Jesus, I got to leave my camera at the house.
So duffel bags, firearm, flammable liquids, glass, thermal, metal container, handcuffs, zip ties, flex cuffs. Well, damn. Illegal substances, including marijuana, knives, blades, laptops, tablets, iPads, laser lights, laser pointers. Yeah, mace, pepper spray, noise makers, poles, bat sticks, clubs, range finders, packages, strollers, scooters. So if you can't bring, I wouldn't bring kids if you can't have strollers. Toy guns, umbrellas, weapons of any kind,
umbrellas,
slingshots.
And it's likely to snow. Come on now.
Other items that may pose a threat to the security of the event at the discretion of the security screener. So you can't bring nothing but your coat, gloves, and a hat.
How about your cell phone?
Let's see.
I didn't hear that.
You can have your cell phone, but you just can't have a tripod and you can't videotape.
We can't videotape the inauguration?
No, because it did say here.
Press pass. Maybe there's an exception for the press.
There is an exception for the press, Judge. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
you're not going to interview nobody. It says laptop,
tablets, iPads. All right. Say that again. Comment on general proceedings.
Wait, where was it? I just read it. Okay, camera cases you cannot have, camping equipment. Where was it? It said you cannot. Oh, here we go. Commercial audio, video recording equipment and tripods.
Okay.
Commercial audio, video recording equipment. So I guess you can have your cell phone. I guess if you press record because it's not commercial audio.
This personal
video,
camera I have, the one I'm using now, I could probably get away with that. Yeah, for sure.
Right. So yeah, that's the list. So just go to the United States Capitol Police website and y'all can read it yourselves. But I want to swing back to that.
The same ones that brought you 1621 and what they did at the Capitol building.
Right.
Not very confident, not inspirational of confidence.
Well, I want to swing back to the LA wildfires real quick before we get up out of here.
DC police reminds me of the crew in charge of the fire department, the utility company in LA. Hate to say it.
You know they're being sued, the utility company in LA. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Homeowners, renters sue utility company over the Eaton fire. It's going to be a lot of lawsuits, and rightfully so.
For sure.
So I wanted to highlight this video here. It says huge gathering in Bakersville, California, protesting federal immigration conducting raids in their area. Lots of Spanish speaking and almost all Mexican flags. One would have to ask, if you love Mexico and want to represent it, why not just go back and live there?
Gracias, gracias. Ay, 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 papantla. Esta estuvo buena, diga.
Bueno.
Sí.
¿Qué canal es usted?
El mitote migrante. El mitote migrante.
All right, so what is this? They're protesting federal immigration who are conducting raids.
Sounds like BLM stuff.
I was gonna say the same thing. That's exactly what it sounds like, personally.
Yeah, and I'm not upset. I mean, look at the St. Patrick's Day parades they have in New York all the time.
Right.
That's a parade. But that's a parade celebrating their achievements. This is a protest because they're upset at the immigration deportation rates.
I have an absolute right to do that. First Amendment. And I defend their right to do it. Even if I disagree with what they're advocating, I defend their right to advocate it.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's their right if they are citizens, but you're protesting against immigration agents, federal agents who are coming in your neck of the woods and deportating illegals.
Well, how about this? Probably, if things are as I suspect, there are many people of Mexican descent or recent immigrants from Mexico who went through the whole 9 yards of becoming citizens, and they don't like this fast track cutting up in the line. Some of them are probably waiting on the completion of the process, doing it legally. So this is like BLM. Everybody black didn't support those pimps and hustlers trying to run the game with BLM either.
That is the truth.
I know I didn't.
Wait, well, you're comparing BLM to the protesters?
BLM, remember the BLM disturbances? Everybody black, including a whole lot of black folk that weren't slaves on the Democratic Party plantation, did not support the BLM stuff. And most of the places that got harmed with the arson episodes were black businesses in the cities. So maybe the Mexican American community has the same perspective. It's divided. And by the way, one thing you need to take into context, I think I ought to mention this. 54% of California is Hispanic, 48% of the registered voters are Hispanic. So anytime you have a protest, it's likely to look like it's a bunch of Mexicans coming out and saying no to something or saying yay to something. That's just if the overwhelming majority of the people in a state are of one ethnic group or declared ethnic group, what can you expect? That doesn't mean everybody of that group supports it.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is the last thing I want to bring up. So I remember this actor, I can't pronounce his name, Jaman Hanzu, Jaman. Amistad. He was the lead, one of the leads on the movie Amistad, and Gladiator. He's a really good actor, very seasoned. But he's talking about the struggles he has had in Hollywood over the decades and, and contributing that to racism. So I want to play.
I'm still struggling trying to make a living.
After 30 years in this business.
I've been in this business and making films now over 2 decades and still, with 2 Oscar nominations, many big blockbuster films, and yet I'm still struggling financially to make a living. I'm definitely underpaid.
How has Hollywood changed in terms of African representation in what you see since you started out to what's being produced now?
I was nominated for a Golden Globe, but they ignored me for the Oscars, talking about the fact that they thought that I just came off the boat and off the streets. Even though I successfully did that, they just didn't feel like I was an actor for whom we should pay any respect to. So this conceptual idea of diversity, it still has a long way to go. systemic racism don't change like that anytime soon.
Growing up, you're one of the first big black actors I saw in big budget films, so it's mind-boggling to me.
But that's a sign for you that systemic racism is not something that you can deal with lightly. You have to cope with it and survive the best way you can.
From personal experience, I'd say Hollywood is probably the most racist place I've ever worked in my going on 80 years of life. And that goes back a long way to when there was, in fact, no civil rights laws, and when there was some real serious discrimination and racism. Hollywood is about the worst, and that was in recent times. It's a filthy place to work, and if you are black, male, and straight, they hate you. So I understand what he's saying, but you know, you can get yourself a real job. I just had a real job. They drafted me, and then after 15 years, I said, go to hell. I've had enough. I'm retiring. You're sick. I've had enough. Now, I understand where he's coming from, but shit happens. He's a good actor. I enjoyed him in Gladiator, and Amistad I watched too.
So I want to ask, why do you think that there is so much racism, particularly in Hollywood, even though it is controlled by Jewish people?
Rainbow. They brag about 8 or 9 out of every 10 people you see anywhere in Hollywood are rainbow cultists. And they hate straight black men because black men represent physical masculinity, even if not so when it comes to character. So that's very threatening to them. And they want these images, these things that make them go, uh-oh, men can be dangerous creatures. They want all of that removed because it makes them feel very ill at ease and very uncomfortable.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Hollywood and systemic racism, what does that look like?
Well, let's put it this way. When I was doing it the last 5 years, I beat Oprah Winfrey damn near every week of the year in ratings. I beat Dr. Phil, the only person that was tied or above me. There were 2 syndicated shows, Wheel of Fortune, Judge Judy, Judge Joe Brown. We kind of alternated, and Judge Judy and I were in the same unit, special CBS unit under a guy named Roger King with Oprah and Phil. Oprah's the superstar. Phil's still on. Judy is supposed to be this. You never hear about me, but I was beating them in ratings. And every time I beat Judy, CBS would avail themselves of an offered change in the rating schedule so that she could stay ahead. But you never heard about me because I'm a straight black male, or black man. So that was an anathema. Some people that are straight, black, and male, they make so much money that they have to, for Hollywood, that they have to accommodate them, even though those folk refuse to hang with Hollywood. It's a dangerous place to hang out because it's sick, it's perverted, and all of the loathsome stuff you have heard about Hollywood is effectively true. They're freaks, and they like to get their freak on.
Maybe want to party and you got to tell them no.
Mm-hmm. First, it's been 27 years ago now, but when I went to the first few parties, I wasn't a young guy. I was in my 50s, and I just said, oh, hell no. I said, this is some sick stuff. I'm not going back to one of these things. I said, maybe it was just a freak. So I went to 2 more, and I just said, no. So I didn't hang out with them, and the only thing I'd go to were studio parties where they really wanted you to go.
Gotcha.
they couldn't get too freak at those. And he's talking about this. Hell, I got nominated for 3 Emmys.
Well, Eddie Griffin, he's a comedian slash actor. I guess he has a podcast, and he was quoted saying, "You're burning up evidence, sons of bees." Eddie Griffin speaks on the rumor that LA fires were used to cover up the pedo trail in Hollywood and calls out State Farm from canceling fire protection policies before the fires started.
I don't buy that because there are easier ways, more efficient ways of accomplishing what he's talking about.
Yeah, I didn't. That's why I'm not
Everybody
even
has
playing.
to do is die, and you got a first-degree murder case with a death penalty staring you in the face. And that's not worth the risk. And there are several people that have died. So,
Yeah, I don't. His explanation, and I get it that he's saying that that town is crazy with that type of reputation, but I don't think that's the reason for that
granted,
fire.
it's a town with a long history of violence and organized crime. And by the way, some of the people that used to live there are interesting. Bat Masterson, Wide Earp, the Wide Earp, the old West gunslingers. Interestingly enough, both of them wound up newspaper reporters. Wide Earp allegedly died at his typewriter in the midst of typing up an article of a heart attack.
Well, I will say this. Maybe that is why. I can't. How you pronounce his name?
Oh, I can't pronounce his name. Save my life.
Julio. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Jamon.
The
Yeah,
gentleman that played in the Amistad thing.
Yeah, him. Maybe that's why he probably was blackballed because he was not trying to pull his pants down and get
Well,
things
what
going.
Cat Williams told us last year it was the year of truth. I don't think Cat Williams is lying. I think it's a whole lot more stuff is going to end up being uncovered. That's why I was halfway being funny, but shit, before we won the party, and you gotta tell them no. You got to tell them no.
Well, what I did is I used my extensive connections, and I got more information on them than they had on me, and some of it they couldn't handle. So I can think of some interesting incidents I won't relate. So they were trying to kowtow me, and I just walked in with to the chief executive CEO and said, "Go to hell, I quit, son of a bitch." Now, meanwhile, before I do something to you and I lay it out, they couldn't deal with it, and they are gone. And I was there for either 14 more years, 13 more years, 12 more years. And it was a game in and out of who had more information on who. And I pulled off a coup on them. I filed an amicus brief, I think it was, back in 1999 on a lawsuit against myself and the studio that was heard by the California Supreme Court. And I think they bought into it. And they put a little few lines in there about if anybody tried to gainsay me, who had ultimate say-so on anything that was broadcast or done, I had full contempt powers, and the people would be liable to jail and civil penalties. So every time they'd get nasty, I'd just send over a few of those pages and say, take a look. Now, F with me. And then the other thing was, at some point, I got to this stage where I could say, screw everybody up in here. Ain't none of you high enough on the food chain to fire me.
You got to a position of FU. That's what it was.
Yeah, so, and I didn't get fired. I quit. They just about something. I said, I'm not buying it. So anyway, ciao. You stole enough money. Unfortunately, the lawyer I had looking in on it, I got refunded all of the retainers because he disappeared. Nobody's seen him for, how long has it been? 11 years. He just disappeared off the face of the earth. His office was looking for him, and people think he's dead. But anyway, here's what it is. Sometimes they play hardball and play the keeps. It's big money involved.
All right. And with that, that is the end of the show. But I want to say a big thank you to the real Austin Off Script. Guys, go follow him on TikTok at the real Austin Off Script. You have to give me your banner so I can put it in my community section. So I really appreciate you, Dr. Julio, aka Dr. Julio, coming on today and helping me co-host the show, because yes, I am very much so congested. So anything you want to say in parting?
Thank you for the invitation. You know, one of the greatest, like I said, one of the greatest people I met in my life, one of the best interviews I've ever done, one of the best relationships I've ever been able to make or cultivate is with you and with Judge Joe Brown. I mean, I'm honored to be here, and we can do this again whenever you want. You give me a call, I'm coming. And I want to say thank you to everybody that watched us and liked it and commented on it. And we're gonna do this again. And I'll be in I'm going to the White House. Well, not the White House, but I'm going to DC on the 20th. So I'm looking forward to that. And Judge, I may be calling you to help me run my campaign very shortly.
All right. I'm here for you, brother. Don't worry about it. It was my pleasure to meet an upstanding young man who's on the way to the top.
I appreciate that.
No excuses. Ask yourself what's in the way, plan how to get around it or get through it.
Yes.
And thank you, Walter, for the super chat. Appreciate you. And I couldn't grab the other super chat to put up there, but Jay the Informant says, Dana, Austin, Sir Joe, thoughts on BLM, fake organization, losing 2 mansions in the late fires. Also, good day. And we spoke about that earlier. We basically saying, good. I'm glad all 3 should have burnt down, but yeah.
I have 4 words to say on that one. Karma is a bitch.
You said 3 words or 4?
He said 4.
But anyway, I guess A is a vowel and a preposition. So 3 words and a letter. Karma is a bitch.
All right. And with that, everybody, of course, go
the punchline on that one.
I'm trying to close out.
This one, it just occurred to me. She probably gonna get a fool self in trouble by trying to make some fraudulent insurance claims.
Probably.
Yeah.
Everybody, please go to jjbbbq.com and get your barbecue sauce, and you can also purchase it on Amazon. Just type in Judge Joe Brown barbecue sauce, or you could go straight to the website jjbbbq.com, and we will see you. Well, you'll see me on Wednesday. I will be on camera on Wednesday because the nose will be fully healed from the blisters from blowing my nose so much. And but I'm still cute.
You always gonna be that, Adam.
Even though I look pale, honey. I don't have no lip gloss. Oh my God. Let me turn that camera off. And I gotta blow my nose now. But honey, I will be back on camera on Tuesday. And stay tuned for episode 3 of Injustice for All on Thursday. And so yeah, thank you everybody. Please hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And have a wonderful week and stay safe.
Ciao.
Have a good one, guys. God bless you.
You too. And then there was me. What is this? What I'm doing here? Oh, I'm gonna do it like this. Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys. I am congested and sorry about that. It is what it is. And yeah, Julio had a ball stand up. Thank you, Dr. Julio, again. And as always, thank you, Judge Joe Brown. And thank you to the listeners. Love you guys. I don't love you, but I appreciate you for tuning in. I think I'm too honest. But no, I really appreciate you guys watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I will see you on Wednesday. But make sure you hit the bell button to get all notifications for when I do the uploads. And thank you to one of my favorite persons. And this is for real, Catalia, honey. Yes, I'm so attached to Catalia because she is a great moderator. Yes, I love Catalia. Her I love for sure. For sure. So shout out to Catalia and everybody in the chat. Fiber Warrior, all you guys. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you on Wednesday. And look out for the uploads. Good night.